Well, hello. So she's somewhere. Why do I have on sunglasses today? Well, that's because that light shines in my eyes and I don't care for it. But while we're waiting, and she's always turning the camera to me anyway to tell me that it's my show, this is what I'm going to do. My friend Deb Langford, she made me buy a mask. Well, I had masks before, but she made me buy a particular mask. What do you think the message is? Yeah. The message is go vote. Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to get your people to vote. Don't forget to get your family, even get your enemies to vote, as long as they're going to vote blue. It's no secret that I'm a major supporter of Kamala Harris and have been supporting her, I think, since 2010. I've been on her campaign finance committee. She and her sister, Maya, have stayed with us at our house on Martha's Vineyard. But, this is one of those times where I don't want to be melodramatic, but I do want to say you're going to have to vote like your life depends on it, because it really does. Okay. I'll let you in on a not so big a secret, and it is that every single week I get a little annoyed because when it's time to start, she is just running in from washing her hair. Okay, that's not true. Changing her clothes, something. And about a minute before we started, she decided to change her dress. I suggested she do that because it was that polka dot one that she's had on in the past. And I said, look, you probably need to put on another dress because you've been wearing that one quite frequently.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the people because we're on live. So that's her asking, who am I talking to? Because again, time has gotten away from her. Finally, this actually has started.
Go ahead. This is
and
your
she
show
hasn't been present. But here she comes.
You were acting really stink before, and I'm like,
every
I'm not
week,
in the mood for it.
Every week we go through this. And today she really was late. So I'm going to take off my sunglasses.
No, I'm not going to take off my sunglasses.
I'm not talking about you. I said I'm taking off my sunglasses and putting on my glasses because this snuck up on me, and that light is very bright. So I'm putting on my glasses.
I don't even
care. And you can look like the intro.
No, I don't even care.
So there you go.
Hi. So how are you guys? Stop. No, because you were being mad rude. Okay. And I'm waiting for you to say something about this dress that my friend actually designed.
That's a nice dress. Amazon.
Oh, you're not going to say it looks like Laura Ingalls?
Well, it does.
Okay, and that's why I have these sunglasses on because I just wanted to get it out of the way. No, I just want to get it out of the way because she was like, my mom was like, well, you have on your blue polka dot dress that I love so much. Well, if you're going to wear that, then you need to change it.
Well, you love it to death. You wear it all the time. You want it on here all the time.
Well, if someone was going to China that possibly is sitting next to me and acting stank today, then I would have asked you to take that dress for me so it could be duplicated.
Who's flying to China these days?
I don't know, but usually you do. Everybody who wants my mom to come back on, don't say anything because I'm not doing it because she is just doing so much.
Somebody says, put mommy back on camera. That's Sharon. Turn the camera back.
Here, there you got half.
What half?
No, but there's half because you were just. Maybe I had a hard day.
Okay? Maybe I had a hard day. You know what I've been doing today?
Well, I went to your house and then you weren't.
Because I was preparing statements for the Los Angeles Police Commission, advisory committee because me and my friends are writing up proposals as we reimagine the police department. Other people sit around and watch TV.
But they kicked you off already.
They didn't kick me off.
Yes, they asked you not to return.
No.
And quite frankly, I'd like to ask you not to return.
The mayor.
If we're being completely honest.
The mayor did not propose me for another term because I was unruly.
Can you...
If there's ever a place to be unruly, shouldn't it be with the Los Angeles Police Department?
Can you say what you told them?
Shouldn't it be with the LAPD?
Are you going to tell these people what you said?
What'd I say?
When
about police patrols, about slave patrols?
When you called the sheriff slave master?
I didn't call the sheriff anything.
Yes, you
it wasn't
did.
About the sheriff.
Who did you call slave masters in that meeting?
I said, when asked, what would I tell the police department union when the commission unanimously voted that a police officer who we thought had acted out of policy and shot and killed a young man by the name of Ezell Ford. I was asked, what would I tell the union when they say they're very concerned about applying the law because they're going to be criticized? I said, what I tell them is they should go back in history to study how most police departments were in fact created. They were groups of vigilantes who went out to capture
they were like
escaped
those militia
Africans.
People, right?
Right. And I call them escaped Africans and not slaves because they were
enslaved.
They were enslaved Africans, and they escaped their mistreatment, their abominable treatment, the murder, the hell, and the rape. And in this country at the time, slavery was legal. So when they ran away, when they escaped, they were stealing themselves from their so-called masters.
Yes.
So these police went out to recapture them. So frankly, when they escaped, usually the first captors, the first people who they saw who mistreated them and brought them back were police.
Yeah.
So what I
so
said,
you didn't call them slave masters because you told me you called them slave masters in the meeting.
I did.
Did you explain to these people that you were on the police commission or no?
Well, I was vice president of the Los Angeles Police Commission.
Did you elect yourself vice president of the police commission? Are you sure?
I did not.
Who elected you vice president? Because I remember
there are 5 commissioners.
Yeah.
They vote on who's going to be president and who's going to be vice president.
And did you vote yourself vice president?
Probably. There were 5. The vote was 5 to 0.
This is what I'm talking about.
The vote was 5 to 0.
This is what I'm talking about. No, I distinctly remember you saying you sent me some email and at the bottom it was like vice president. And I was like, when did you become vice president? You were like, well, just now I declared it. No, like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
That's not how that happened. They voted me.
So wait, were you outside of the house today?
No, I came outside to come over
here.
I'm
talking because I went to your house earlier.
I was upstairs in my office.
Well, I didn't go all the way back there. Hi, Larnie.
Hi, Larnie.
My mother is really getting.
I was upstairs in my office, and today I spent much of the day.
Look how much bigger your head is compared to mine.
And you know what? I'm so excited because today I'm on the pillow, which gives me a butt.
It
measures up to the butt that you have that I don't have. So now I'm not sitting all low like this. And so,
you know what?
That's how I spent my day. So on Thursday, me and a small group of my friends who are calling ourselves the Coalition for a Better Los Angeles. We just came up with our name. And we are testifying before this advisory committee about how.
Who are these people on the advisory committee?
They're friends of mine.
No, but I'm saying like you're going to testify in front
people on the advice.
Yes.
Some of them are police commissioners and some of them have been invited by the police commission and the mayor.
Was this the police commission where everybody, like there was that Zoom call like a few months ago?
No.
on YouTube, and people
No,
like,
wait. That's the police commission.
Yes,
But
that was awesome.
This is an advisory committee to the
them.
police commission.
So
right.
what are you like? What are you planning? Like, what position are you planning to do?
It's not a position I'm planning to do.
Because
they've invited some citizens. They've invited some citizens.
Nobody asked me about it.
To make suggestions during the month of September. They've been having meetings every Thursday.
Okay.
This Thursday is the next to the last meeting. I and some friends of mine who are pretty well known, some of them are pretty well known here in LA, but they are civic-minded individuals. We have crafted some recommendations, an analysis and some recommendations of what we think should go into a reimagined LAPD. Okay,
great. Let's segue to this topic, which is on our list.
Your mom is a good mess. I am.
Okay. Anyway, so
I'm reading.
I know, but no, you're not.
I can read and listen at the same time.
No, you can't. So anyway, here's a topic for today: Breonna Taylor death settlement. There were 3 responsible officers are expected to be cleared tomorrow. So, I posted something last week.
They're expected to be cleared tomorrow?
That's what it said.
I heard on the news when I was driving over here that all vacations and leaves at the Louisville Police Department have been canceled because they're expecting a ruling from, I guess, the DA about whether to charge those 4 cops. It's more than 4 cops now. About what I think
whether to charge.
Whatever's going to happen. The process I'm familiar with is that a DA will present a case to a grand jury. The grand jury will hand down an indictment if they determine that there's cause for someone to be charged with a crime. So I will assume. Wasn't there that black man who was the?
Yeah, I was about to. Yeah,
right.
Wait, the light skin one.
I don't know about what his skin color is.
No, I'm saying
somebody who got married during the course of this investigation. He had oh, look it up. He had a shower. He had a wedding shower, and people were like,
"What is wrong with you?" Right.
But in any case,
well, all your
what I'm saying,
folk and your kinfolk, and he definitely would be one person because that is raggedy. That's so raggedy. I don't like that.
Well,
so this says, hold on. This says something about judge rules Louisville police do not have to release investigative file into fatal police shooting of Breonna Taylor. This whole thing is
they don't have to release the file, but the grand jury will, the DA, if the DA presented a case, which I think is what was happening, then at the conclusion of that one-sided, because only the DA presents information, there is no rebuttal in a grand jury, right? So if the DA presents that information, then a grand jury will vote, and they will vote to no bill, mean there's no bill, no indictment coming out, or there's an indictment. So the fact that these that I heard on the news that the Louisville Police Department is on standby.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
They're planning that. They're expecting people going to be wilding out, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, but here's the question: how did you feel about the decision last week
to settle?
Yeah.
So let me talk about the decision to settle.
I ain't like it.
The city could have offered the moon.
Right. And it wouldn't matter.
No, it's up to the family to accept it. Just because it was offered doesn't mean it had to be accepted.
Right.
They accepted it.
It was money plus police reform. And one of them was like, it was like, the officers will be encouraged to do 2 hours of paid community service per week. I'm like, no one's going to do that.
Well, among the other things was they banned the no-knock warrants.
Okay.
Officers being encouraged to do 2 hours of community service sounds like while in uniform, right? While in uniform, instead of you sitting in a patrol car or driving and patrolling or looking for bad actors, perhaps you'll be
bad hombres.
Perhaps you'll be at a school, if schools were in session. Perhaps you'll be at an after-school session, perhaps. Perhaps you'll be at a place, at a food, what do you call those things? Food bank, a food bank where food is being handed out. I mean, there's a variety of things that could and can be done.
Right.
The whole point of all this, though, is to have police not be perceived as invading military. Right. Rather that we are, I mean, you remember the DARE program?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a DARE shirt, actually.
Right. So the DARE program actually humanized police for a whole lot of kids.
What does DARE stand for again? Drug and...
I don't know.
Whatever. Okay. DARE.
Right. But it humanized police for a lot of kids.
Right.
It made, like when I was a kid, they would talk about officer friendly. Whatever. And in this case, the DARE program would put police officers in front of impressionable young students. And some of them would decide from that introduction that they wanted to be police officers, which if you're going to have police, that's actually a good way to do it.
It stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education.
Oh, who came up with that? That is so good.
Brandon just,
thank you, Brandon.
Googled it.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay. So
are we down? Is this thing scrolling?
No, it's scrolling. It's just that people don't have any comments, I don't think, right now.
Y'all not having any comments about us talking about this police stuff?
No. Well, okay, here's my thing. Like, okay, so this is, here's a question. Oh, hi, Idris.
Back there?
No one can see you. You're going to have to like move over or something. Because either
we're going to get you
either you're in or you're out.
A lavalier mic or something so people can actually hear you.
Well, Idris, either you're in or you're out. So like come closer. Yeah.
What's all this? What's all of this? This drapiness.
He always does that.
Okay.
So move your chair so that
Do your legs fit?
Yeah. Okay. So this says, okay, what was your biggest motivator going into this week? I know there are a lot of people who are sad about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I mean, yes, it's sad she died. I was really sad to hear she died of pancreatic cancer because it can be very painful. But that's not really why I feel this way. I don't know. I'm over white people, and I'm over the fact that they can't vote properly, or I'm sorry, they do vote properly, but they vote for their own like best interests. Like, I'm tired. I'm so irritated. Like,
that suggests that the best interests of white people is not necessarily in a good interest for Black people. And
what I'm saying is,
I'm not challenging you. I'm just saying that I think that the proper way to think about this is if we want a society that works,
right?
If we want a society where people have a feeling of
equity,
we belong,
right?
Equity,
which has never happened.
Then what is perceived to be in the best interest of Black people would also be in the best interest of white people.
Yeah, but they don't see it like that.
Well,
and that's why we had the 53%.
Well, I think that as we saw the protests in the streets immediately after the murder of George Floyd,
right,
I became more hopeful about this generation Z, his generation, being valuing parity and fairness. See, I
didn't see it that way. I wanted to, I really did. And I remember asking you, and
how did you see it?
Well, okay, so I'll go ahead and say I study human behavior. That's what I do. And even though I hope the best, like I try to see the best in people, human beings are really just, terrible. And when it came to George Floyd, I remember asking my dad, like, because you guys have lived through the 60s and stuff like that. And, I don't have a barometer in terms of like social change, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't there. So anyway, my point is that when it came to George Floyd, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, this is really great. I encountered some really strange things. I encountered some really, like, for example, I went to Trader Joe's and I was packing, putting my stuff in my car, like, because I got groceries, and I encountered this white man, and I was taking a picture of it was like a billboard, and I live in a pretty white part of town, and it was basically like, I forgot what it was for, but it basically was like, it listed like all these victims of police brutality, right? And I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. In this part of LA, click. So I'm putting in my stuff, and there's this white dude who I guess is like, getting out of his car to go to the store, and so he like he started like bowing
to you.
Yes, and I was like, please don't do that. I was like, because here's the thing, okay? I know there are a lot of people that mean well. I know there are a lot of well-meaning white people.
What do you think he meant by that?
I don't know. I felt like in his mind, he felt like, oh, you know what? I am now more aware of the things that you have to deal with. But at the same time, I was like, I don't need don't be performative for me.
No.
That's rude. Like, don't do that. Like, I'm a whole person. Like, you don't even know the things I've had to deal with. I don't necessarily want like someone to give me an apology or like, money would be nice, but I just don't want.
Did you roll your eyes at him?
I told him, no, I was like, please don't do that.
Okay. What did he say?
He was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, please don't do that. I was like, okay, all right. What? Like, I was dismissed. I was like, please, I tried to be as nice as I could, but my point is that I've been seeing more and more articles, and I feel this way. So when everything happened with George Floyd, I thought it was great, but I know human beings, and I know that people are going to be just as attentive to this as it pertains to their news feed, or like, they just continue to like see it and see it and see it. I know for a fact that if we were not in the house all the time because of this COVID business, you know how many Black people get shot up and kids get shot up and killed. And so I'm just like, okay, so this grown Black man got killed. I've seen this happen before. We saw it happen in New York. I kept asking myself, like, why is this different? And so part of me was like, okay, white people, y'all should have felt something when Tamir Rice was shot. That was a 12-year-old boy by police. Like, that's a boy, not even a man. That's a boy. Second of all, yeah, we're all in the house, but how long is your attention span going to be this time? So I've been seeing more articles written by Black folks that are like, hey, you know what? Like, yeah, I'm starting to kind of feel that my white cohort, so to speak, are not as interested anymore. And so and so for, like for me, I'm a Black person. I've always been a Black person. I don't know how else to be. So for me, this is of utmost importance. But to someone where it doesn't impact your life on a daily basis, and for people who are still surprised, like, I can't believe this is happening. It's 2020. I'm just like, y'all need to get away from me. Like, I'm tired. I'm frustrated.
So
that's how I feel.
Okay. It makes perfect sense to feel that way. However, I'm going to say to you that the statement that I made earlier is not a statement where I'm suggesting that I'm feeling better about white people.
Right.
What I said was I was feeling better about Gen Z and their valuing parity. Right. So
his generation, yes, I think the kids get it a bit more, I think, than people who, have the capacity to get distracted with life.
Okay. Those kids are going to grow up.
Yeah.
So therein is the reason why this phrase, in my lifetime, I don't know if I'm ever going to see such and such in my lifetime.
I never thought I was going to see a Black president in my lifetime.
And there you go.
But then look at us now, because
the backlash. It's the backlash. I get it. So what I'm saying too is that I have a certain amount of hope that his generation, which from what I'm seeing is not as enraptured with owning cars and boats and houses and blah, 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 more about the experiences and travel and having a good life and wanting to be who they want to be, where they want to be, and how they want to be it. Mm-hmm. That to me holds more hope than, my house is bigger than yours.
Right.
My car is faster than yours.
Which really gets on my nerves anyway.
My is bigger than yours.
My nose is bigger than yours.
It is.
You said what is that? My checking account is bigger than yours?
If you want to take
my
it that
toe
way.
is bigger than yours.
What do men say to each other or think about each other?
I know. About their penises?
Well, there you go. That's what you back on. He got it right away. You're dense.
No, I'm not dense. I try, this is what went through my mind yesterday. I was like, you know what? Like, everybody's upset about Ruth Bader Ginsburg dying and it's terrible and blah, blah, blah. But what I really thought about was, like, now that, like, what I see on my Twitter feed, I see, like, on Instagram, like, these white women who are, I'm guessing, liberal, who are like, oh my God, like Roe versus Wade, like what's going to happen? And all I keep thinking about is, oh, so that's scary for you. But meanwhile, like Black women have Black women of childbearing age who have children are like, their mortality rate is like off the chain.
Okay, I'm going to say something that's probably going to freak a lot of people out.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know why everybody is so shocked and sorrowful, but for the timing.
Right.
But for the timing.
She was dumb old, like she was going to die anyway.
Old and she had lived an amazing life.
Right.
And she was ill and she'd been in and out of the hospital. Who was not expecting that this was going to happen?
Right.
What I do lament, first of all, I'm happy for anybody who finally escapes this physical suffering, right?
Yeah, for
Whatever it is that they're living through, it's like, at least they're not suffering anymore. That's one.
Okay, first of all, what doesn't get on my nerve? I don't know, like a lot of things don't get on my nerve, but like in particular right now, this is super important to me. So I don't know if you're trying to be cute, but like, that gets on my nerves. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So the other part of this that I'd say is that, I'm glad she's not suffering anymore. I am sorry about the timing that she couldn't hang on, but she couldn't. Now, what's the phrase? Life is for the living.
Yeah.
It's up. There's no one person who's going to stick his or her thumb in the dike to hold back all the waters from the dam. It's just not going to happen. That's not the way the world works. What her passing now has shown everyone, again, who that man is, who him and his cohorts are, that they are willing to, before there was even a grieving period. Oh, we got this.
I know. I'm like, you all are so rude and disrespectful.
But again, these things for some people like me affirm what we know to already be going on. It's like back in the day when I was in the Nation and people would say, pull the covers off it. It pulled the covers off. There's no more tap dancing around. Oh yeah, but he's not really going to run for president. He just wants the nomination. This was said 4 years ago. He just wants the nomination. And if he gets it, he's going to give it up because that's not really what he wants to do.
I also read this article today. I am annoyed. Yes, you're right. I am annoyed. I read this article today and it was by, another well-meaning white person. And this person had said, it was like, oh, why, what Mitch McConnell is doing isn't hypocrisy, but it's a straight up lie. And it's true. But what annoys me is that, again, well-meaning white people, I don't know. Is it family ties? Like, you can get the hell up on. Like, I don't really know who you are.
And that's a terrible name to have.
Well, whatever. I'm like, you can go somewhere.
No, we don't. You don't.
In any case, my point is that this person had written like, oh, well, I was one of those people who really thought that, it couldn't have gotten this like so bad. And I'm like, well, I don't really understand like what you thought it was going to be. But anyway, you know what? All I can say is this: y'all should vote.
That's how I started out the show.
Y'all should vote. I don't want to hear anything about like, oh, my vote's not going to count. I'm just
vote blue.
And I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. Like, my bad if I'm irritated today, but I'm like, there are just days when I'm just like black and tired, and this is a day. So
I was irritated today.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel you.
That's my sister-in-law, Diane Madison.
Hi, Diane.
Why were you irritated today?
I didn't want to go to school today. I was tired. My eye was irritated. And then I had a group thing in history, and the group I was in was a challenge.
Okay,
did you do well?
I mean, we're continuing the thing tomorrow, but
okay. We'll talk about it afterwards. History was one of my majors. I'm good at history.
History's an easy grade.
Okay, so we'll change the topic since, some of y'all want to just like be all up in your feelings like me. And I'm not going to curse anybody out because my mother's here. Anyway,
I want to talk about stress.
No, I want to talk about this. Okay, so 6IB Rob from Instagram asked, what's a good way to detach emotionally from a toxic relationship?
Oh.
Well, you're going to have to, I would say the best way is you're going to have to come up with an exit strategy. Like, because either you're going to remain in the relationship knowing it's toxic. How do you detach?
Okay, I want to weigh in on that.
Okay, I figured you would.
Once you yourself define a relationship as toxic, that means it's poisonous.
Right.
That means it's poisonous. If you look upon yourself as someone to be valued, why continue to poison yourself? That means that figure out how to leave, how to be gone. The emotional detachment, if you have been somehow believing that you're thriving in pain, you're not. Approach it from the perspective of a great feeling of relief, that you are relieved to now be in an environment where the air is cleaner, the sky is bluer, the water tastes better, and everything is just good. Because if not, that toxicity has not only poisoned you, but you've probably become addicted to it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, there are people who are in, thank you. I have a nice smile. There are people who are in, codependent relationships. And there are people who, like, I can speak from experience. I'm somebody who likes to fix things. I'm good at fixing things. I'm good at solving problems. And I, for my career, I fix people's or try to help them fix their emotional issues or their psychiatric issues. But what I had to stop doing was having that spill over into my personal life. So I know that for some people, they just have that desire, or they have just kind of like maybe an unconscious notion that that's what they want to do. I think the other question I would want to ask is, are you financially dependent on this person? Like, I think that's kind of the first question. If you're not, then I think, like I said initially, like, I think you should come up with an exit strategy, because you're either going to be dealing with somebody toxic and be unhappy, or you're going to be like doing your own thing and be happy. That's kind of it.
So until I was almost married, I had a practice of nobody's living in my house who I'm not married to.
Okay.
There you go.
How do you survive?
I would ask this question, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is something. Well, maybe Idris, you can answer this. What are some strategies? Oh, sorry. Maella B from Instagram asks, what are some strategies to help when you begin comparing yourself to others? I don't really compare myself to anybody, and I'm not trying to be, whatever. But I just don't.
Yeah, at times. I usually forget about it after a while. I just stop thinking about it usually.
Stop thinking about comparing yourself to someone else?
Well, yeah, like I'll get really into it, like trying to like surpass them in a way, but then I'll just forget about it.
Is it competitive in terms of video games? Yep. So it's mostly around video games.
Yeah.
But is it like around your self-esteem or your self-image or anything like that?
A little bit about that. I've been hurt by friends at a lot of times.
How? In what way?
Verbally.
What do you mean? Oh.
Saying what? You're a loser?
Paragraphs upon paragraphs of insults.
Friends of yours?
Yeah, because
people that you're still friends with.
Yeah, I'm still friends with them because there's a lot of reasons. Basically, people will do things to be led into a team, and one of my friends did try doing that. Yet then we're cool now because he apologized, and I'm like, okay, I still need a minute, and then
Yeah.
You guys are young, so I mean, I get it. But I mean, if anybody, like I'm grown, you're grown. Like for me.
I was young once.
For at this stage in my life, if somebody does something, I'm like, you're too grown. So if this is something that you actually like thought about or maybe didn't think about and you want to just like, like come crazy at me, like I'm not really like I don't have to accept anybody's apology, I guess. Like I can say, oh, okay, well, thank you for that, but it doesn't mean that I necessarily have to keep being friends with you.
So I'm not good with what he just described.
Yeah, me neither.
And I never was, even as a child.
Yeah, me neither.
And I was the
who he's talking to.
Yeah, I'd be like, what do you want to do about this?
Right. Like, so what's your plan?
I mean,
now that you've insulted me, do you want me to beat you or you want me to just stop talking?
However, this is going to be, what we're not going to do is continue to talk to each other.
Right.
I mean, I will tell you right now, there was one, I'm 68 years old, and a man who, when we were children, he was 3 years older than me, and took great joy in humiliating me in front of the big boys in the neighborhood I was 8 or 9, and he called me into that crowd. Hey, Paula, come here. And I went into the crowd.
I mean, not who is it, but I'm saying, is this a friend or like a family member?
Not a family member.
Oh, because I was like, okay.
This is a friend of my brother's.
Okay.
Who said, what's your phone number? And all these, all the big dudes were standing around, and I knew what that was about. I looked at him and I said, we don't have a phone. And he started laughing, and they all started laughing. What I can tell you is that when this dude died like 3 months ago, I was like,
bye. That's what you get for being raggedy all those years ago. See what happens? You die.
I only bring this up because I guarantee you, there's not a person who has ever tried doing some shit like that to me who I have forgotten.
You're right.
I will. This is here. And what you can't do is come up to me and, hey, how you doing? I'm like, how are you?
I hold grudges.
Oh, I hold grudges.
I hold grudges.
I'm good with that.
I hold grudges. I mean, I hold grudges.
I'm good with that.
I hold
and you better hope you never fall down in front of me. If you ever wronged me, you better hope you never fall down, because I'm certain I will forget how it was that my foot came down on your head.
Well, this is what
how'd that happen?
This is what I will say. Like, I don't forget anything, but like, I know that most people that I know, at least, like if you encounter somebody who you don't like they'll just, like you might be like, oh, but I will actually be nice to them, like, oh my God, that's so great, and because what I'm trying to do is catch them off guard, and then I flip it.
No,
I love doing that. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Remember when you was acting up?
Because the time that you did whatever you did, I guarantee you, I let you know what you can kiss and where, so that we've already established we are not friends anymore. We're not even acquaintances. So I'm good with you just walking right by. You don't even got to say shit to me.
I like duping people. I'm like, oh my God,
that requires
I hate
thinking.
you.
That I have.
But that
they
to
no
me,
longer exist. If it's work people, that's a different thing. I have to deal with you, and eventually I'm gonna be your boss, and I'm gonna get you. That's how that works.
Let's go to a more fun topic.
Let's go to a fun topic.
The Emmys.
Oh, okay.
Well, no,
Did we have Emmys Black?
Yes.
We had some.
So first of all, Regina King.
I love her.
Won Outstanding Lead Actress in a Limited Series for
that they killed. They killed the series. I bet they're gonna bring it back.
That's what I just said.
No, they
have to bring it back.
No,
did they?
They said the people who were doing the writing about, well, we can't think of.
But that was when he was on vacation. We can't think of any more of a
plot line for.
But that sounded like, oh God, these white people, we're white, and these other white people are going to be upset because we're writing this very Black show.
That's what it was.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, they're gonna bring it back now because
all Emmys.
All this critical acclaim.
It was yesterday. So look, Regina King won. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
He won. Him Yahya. My understanding, and when I was doing my Arabic, it's Yahya.
Is it Yahya?
I don't know how he's pronouncing it, but it's Yahya.
It might. Okay, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. He won for playing Dr. Manhattan, which was because I never envisioned Dr. Manhattan as Black, but
that was
it was so amazing. Okay, it was so amazing. Okay, and then I also, not these people are Black, but the writers won.
Yeah.
For Watchmen. Okay. And then I think Watchmen also won Best Limited Series. Zendaya won her first Emmy, which is kind of odd because she's really talented, for Best Actress in a Drama for Euphoria, which young. I didn't. I tried Euphoria. To watch one episode and it was I can deal with dark topics, but the episode I saw was there was this dude, I think she has a brother maybe on the show. And so there was a dude who came over, and I guess this dude was a drug dealer to her brother. And he drugged Zendaya and was going to basically rape her. It was, I was okay. It was the way it was shot. It was just.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It was filmed. Cheryl Lee said it was filmed on your street. Where you stay at? Is it LA? I'm just wondering.
It had to be LA.
And then, okay, here's the thing. Dave Chappelle, who you share a birthday with, won for Outstanding Writing for a Variety Special for penning Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones. Now.
Maybe that's why I love Dave Chappelle so much.
Yes, but remember when he came out with it, there were people that were very upset because he was
that the social distance comedy?
Was that Sticks and Stones? I thought Sticks and Stones was Baldwin Hills. Oh, nice. That's where they shot Euphoria. I wanted to live
there, but where I work is too far away.
Was Sticks and Stones the one where he received a lot of pushback because he was including jokes about transgendered people? Or was Sticks and Stones the one that the most recent one, like the social distancing one? Because it was definitely comedy, but it was also definitely more a a speech. Anyway, good for Dave Chappelle. I actually liked the special. I do understand why people got upset.
Yep.
Yes. I do understand why people got upset. And granted, I'm not a trans person. And I did understand generically his point of if y'all want to be, thought of as anybody else, you guys also have to be willing to be the brunt of the joke. But some people didn't see it that way, which I can understand too. But I thought it was funny. Also, Uzo Aduba secured her latest Emmy.
Chisholm.
Right, for Shirley Chisholm for Mrs. America. I haven't seen that, but I heard it was good. And then that's all I really have as far as Emmys.
I never saw Schitt's Creek. Did you see that?
I haven't, but I heard that I've been told that Eugene Levy's son, who's on the show, is won. Really good.
But who also won is the brother who was on The Wire, who was on what's his name?
Oh, Michael Williams?
No. The brother who was on The Wire, who also was on This Is Us. He and his daughter won Emmys.
Black or white?
They're Black.
You talking about the Black dude from This Is Us?
Mm-hmm.
He won an Emmy?
The skinny one who plays the father with the beard. He used to be the drug addict.
Is he dark skinned?
Yes. And his daughter's very fair, so I don't know.
Oh.
Somebody look that up. He's the brother who won. He and his daughter both won Emmys.
What's his name?
Please.
I don't remember.
Oh, Ron Cephas.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
I don't know who Ron Cephas is.
Really attractive guy.
Well, congrats
narrow.
To you. Narrow face.
Very narrow face.
Ron.
Cephus.
Remember Cephas and Reese?
Is it from a movie?
No, Cephas and Reese was from A Living Color.
Oh, okay.
We've been working on a railroad.
Anyway,
Twinkle, twinkle.
I'm glad to see that we had representation.
Oh, you're talking about the crackhead.
That's what I said.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. Oh, I didn't know he won any. Oh, he's on what show?
This Is Us.
Oh, he is? Good for him.
And his daughter is on another show. And what I saw yesterday is that they're the first father-daughter combination to win an Emmy in the same year.
His last name is actually spelled Cephas, although I wish it was Cephas like US, because
Because it just fits the image better.
No, I'm just saying
what Cephas is.
Well, I mean, Cephas, like, it's like when you meet a white person named Tyrone and you're like, are you Scottish or something? Like Irish? Like, how does that work? Anyway, okay, let's keep going.
So my great grandfather's name was Cephas.
The black one.
Huh?
Oh,
my great grandfather, yeah, the black one.
Yeah, I mean that's like being named like
his real name was Theophilus, but they called him Cephas, Theophilus Lloyd.
Okay, that's a nice name. I only know one person named Theophilus, but that's Theophilus London. That's
Jasmine Cephas Jones is his daughter.
Oh, okay. Somebody asked me, can you explain more about your PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder?
What's that?
So, all right. So PMDD,
being miserable before you get your period.
It's beyond being miserable before you get your period.
For him, that's enough.
Okay. So basically what it describes is, I can kind of explain to you the symptoms that I had. So 2 weeks, basically 2 weeks of the month, which is 6 months out of the year. It's like I could feel when my hormones like shot up, like I could feel it. And then I would get like really irritated and like damn near homicidal. And you also experience really physical symptoms. Like my fatigue would be really bad. And like, I'd be really, really bloated. And it was just like fatigue to the point where there'd be days where it's miserable. Fatigue to the point where like, I would have to call out because it was like, if I get behind a car, I'm going to fall asleep. Like,
I was really happy with menopause. I really was.
I mean, I'm kind of
really
looking forward to it. I asked my friend who's an OB-GYN, like, yo, are there things as like therapeutic hysterectomies? Because I have a gently used uterus. If anybody wants it, you can have it because it's really not doing anything for me right now.
Because blood comes out of your vagina.
It doesn't happen to everybody. It's very annoying.
Well, it happens, but it's in various degrees of discomfort.
It's just awful. So anyway, to answer your question, basically it's having these type of sustained symptoms for like 2 weeks. So when I first got put on Prozac, actually before, I asked my OB-GYN, like, well, because I had read studies that said that you can just take Prozac 2 weeks out of the month. And she was like, well, if you also have like underlying anxiety and depression, you probably should take it anyway. So I actually had to have my Prozac increased a couple weeks ago because I started to feel that way again. And I was like, oh, like it's like, boom.
Are you taking elephant doses?
Kind of.
Yeah,
I'm taking like the max. I'm taking, so just to give you guys kind of like, for those of you who care about pharmacology. So Prozac usually starts at 10 milligrams and then you can increase it slowly. I actually have really never prescribed anybody 80 milligrams of Prozac, maybe 1 or 2 people for people that had really bad anxiety. Because some people, when it gets that high, they will say that like, oh, I'm more anxious, but I'm actually taking like 80 milligrams of Prozac. And that's because like similar to a lot of my patients that are, in the community or in the hospital, let's say, this pandemic has really like messed with people's like mental.
How come I have anxiety, but I don't have?
Because
I'm not taking any of that.
Because when you get anxious, you make everyone else miserable.
Well, that's a good solution.
It's really not.
It is. Well, you made me miserable when you were anxious.
I know, but what I'm saying is
you're so much better.
I know, but what I'm saying is that when you get miserable, it's like you punish everyone.
Everyone deserves punishment.
No, it does not. And that's very rude. And the only reason why I tolerate it is because you are my mother. I've been trying to get you to take different things for years, and you don't do it because you don't want to listen.
What do you think?
You know what to say.
I don't know.
Because you wild out.
His relief at our house is grandpa.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there's like, you act right here, kind of.
No, it's kind of the
same.
No, it's not.
I mean,
it is the
no,
same.
It's not.
Usually when you get added into the equation, it's like, wow.
You bring a different formula into the house. You bring a different energy.
An aura.
And so you're better now. But you used to be intolerable. Give me my phone.
Anyway, you know what? Listen,
no,
because she, yes, you have anxiety like bad.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but I don't.
Because you don't want to. That's my point. If you had physical symptoms like I had, like panic attacks and PMDD, right, then like you'd be like, oh God, I have to do something.
So I have a milder form.
No, you have moderate to.
Why are you so aggressive?
Okay. Idris, real talk. Let's say you guys are going on a trip. Who acts up right before
the trip?
Yes.
My grandma. Because my grandpa likes taking forever to pack, but really that's just his thing. And since they're opposites, it becomes chaos in the house. And
okay,
go my little ball.
This is what's happening.
Because I am completely packed at least 24 hours before departing.
You have obsessive compulsive.
I do.
You have obsessive compulsive personality disorder, which means that you believe everything that you do is correct. You adhere to rigid rules and standards that you really only have like made up for yourself. You always have to be the judge of things. You are very judgmental. And if your husband isn't fully packed 24 hours before departure, and you've been married to him for how long?
30 plus years.
So you know he's not going to do it.
No.
But every time it's just like, and when we went to China.
No.
Oh my God. There was one time my mom was like, Imani, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm aware. And I knew it got on her nerves so bad. And I didn't even care.
The issue frequently is there's a lot of questions that we sleep in the same bedroom. He wants to pack 5 hours before we're leaving, which generally is when I would be asleep.
Maybe he's doing that to get on your nerves. Maybe he's being like vindictive.
Quite possibly. But the point of all this is I will make a statement that, can you please be packed by the time I'm ready to go to bed?
And then he's like, no, because I'm trying to get on your nerves. Right?
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Can we do a dance party at the end of today's episode? Oh, it is the 21st of September.
It is. You can do it.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I'm not really in the mood to have dance party.
Right See, now. You're miserable and you're miserable.
I'm not miserable.
And you're miserable.
I'm just irritated with like the world right now.
You
like,
have rhythm, but you just can't dance. Is that what you said?
I mean, my bad.
Then you have to dance more. Somebody had a question in here that I was going to have you answer.
There's a lot of questions. I've been answering them this whole time.
Oh, you have been answering them?
Yeah, on YouTube.
Oh, my. How do you let go of friends that you've outgrown?
You just give them pink
Meaning
slips.
you can't celebrate their accomplishments because they think you're bragging. Everything becomes a competition.
That's not a friend.
Yeah.
Honestly, I had a friend who I knew for a long time. We went to college together, and she
I wrote a paragraph on this.
Oh, nice. So she
dismissed you.
No, I didn't. I just didn't want to forget my place. So there was like I had a really good friend from college, and like we used to talk all the time. And there was one day we were on the phone, and she was like, "Oh, okay, let me call you back." And then I waited for her to call me back, and I actually called her back, and then she didn't call me back for like 2 years. And then she was like, well,
she had somewhere else to be,
I guess. So that being said, I mean, there's more to it, but basically she called me back and she told me that she had done a lot of soul searching and whatever. And she was like, well, I just wanted to tell you that, I guess I had to come to terms with the fact that I was always jealous of you, which was really weird to me. And I was like,
is she still your friend?
No.
Oh, I'm like,
no, I mean, and we basically had a beer summit, or I don't drink beer, but we went out to eat and we basically cleared the air. And
I have a practice of I don't eat with people who I don't enjoy.
Well, that being said, I mean,
my stomach.
That being said, Yeah, I mean, I just, I was very, it was really interesting, especially because this was one person who, there were people who, when I first got pregnant, I didn't really know like what the rules were. I was just like, oh, I'm pregnant, whatever. Like, okay. Like, apparently you're not supposed to tell people like before you're showing or something. I was like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I didn't even know I was pregnant like last week. So anyway, there were people who, when I would tell them, you could see like women, like their faces would drop. Like, they'd be like, how this bitch pregnant? And I'm married and I ain't having no kids yet. And I was like, see.
And you wasn't even married.
Right. And I was like, see, and that's what happens. That's what happens when you want to act real petty. And I was on birth control. But they were like good. They were like a good like 3 or 4 people that really like they were like,
your
oh,
great-grandmother brought you here.
They were like, oh, congratulations. I was like, ugh. I was like, you know what, bye. So in any case, I guess all I'm saying is that when there are people who like believe who they are when they show you.
I am in a 1%. I just feel like that.
I mean, believe who people are when they show
the
you.
very first time.
Yeah.
You don't need
like,
to try to examine
right.
and
And you don't have
right.
to, right.
And you don't have to be friends with everybody. And, and you don't have to say hi to everybody. I mean, you just, do your thing, keep moving.
Right. It's not that serious.
Someone walking by faith asks, maybe I need Prozac. What's the difference between Prozac and Zoloft?
Okay. I'm going to explain this really briefly because I don't want to get into this.
Mm-hmm.
Prozac and Zoloft are very similar. They're both selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which means that the theory of depression basically explains that there is decreased serotonin available to your brain. And a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor blocks the receptors that serotonin would kind of like get attached to and sucked in. And it basically leaves more serotonin in what's called the synaptic cleft of a neuron in your brain. So it just makes serotonin more available, right? That being said, there are some differences between Prozac and Zoloft. Prozac is FDA approved for PMDD, for depression, for anxiety. Zoloft is approved for depression and anxiety as well. Prozac has a half-life of 14 days, meaning that it lasts very long. So basically it would take 2 weeks for half of Prozac, the actual medication, right, to come out of your system. Zoloft is different. Zoloft actually can be taken by pregnant women as well. But I think that I will say this: SSRIs and Prozac can sometimes be used as what's called what do they call it? For chemical castration for people that have like sexually deviant behavior. I've given it to patients who have done things like that. But I would say that in general, I think Zoloft may be more tolerated, but Prozac's been around for longer. So I take Prozac because the conditions that I have are FDA approved, like depression, anxiety, and PMDD.
Are there natural serotonin inhibitors?
There is St. John's wort.
I used to take, so I took that for.
Can you please take some more?
When I was going through menopausal times.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Black cohort and
Black cohosh
and St. John's wort.
Yeah.
And I had my gyne at the time was trying to get me to take all the hormone replacement therapy things, which I refused. It was before these things were connected to being cancer causes.
You might have to look it up. I just kind of threw St. John's wort out there because I did this presentation like years ago, but I think it acts similarly to an SSRI. But here's the thing about St. John's wort.
By the way, we're not prescribing anything.
We're just talking.
Right.
So the thing about supplements is that, so here's the thing about medications. If I get prescribed Prozac in California, it's going to be the same dose as if I got it in New York, right? Because there's an FDA, and that's one of their main concerns. There isn't an FDA for supplements. So even if someone, and all supplements are like, oh, this is like this is like the most potent kind. It's really hard to discern if you have 2 bottles of St. John's wort, let's say, which one is more pure, which one has, the least, I guess, what am I trying to say? The least like garbage, like the least
trashy stuff.
Yeah, I can't think of like the term right now, but in any case, you have to be kind of careful with supplements because you can take them and, they could be helping you. But here's another thing. There is something that is known as the placebo effect, which really does. Like I've told people, I'm like, listen, if jumping up on one leg for 15 minutes a day helps you feel better, like do that.
It's cheaper.
Right. I don't care. Like if you feel better, like if you like it, I love it. So
yeah.
I know they affect your sex life. They can, like SSRIs can, but it depends. But here's the thing: if you take one and you're having side effects, there are so many other antidepressants and SSRIs and SNRIs like Effexor and Lexapro. There's so many of them out there.
So a few weeks ago, you posted a photo or some photos of our house on Martha's Vineyard.
I did. It was a light flex.
And it's like, oh, can I come to your house? Oh, can I have a vacation in my house? Oh, when I come to the United States, can I come to your house? The answer is no.
I was being nice, but I was like, no. And even if you did, you will never find it.
There are two people who sometimes, maybe three people who sometimes in here who have come to our house, and that, that's good. They're very close friends or their family members.
So this morning I was reading this article in, I think it was New York Magazine, about this Indian dude who wrote this book about a white couple who was Airbnb-ing a house in the Hamptons, and the black owners came. And the white people were like, what are y'all doing here? And they were like, well, black people was like, what are you doing here? Like, you're supposed to be gone. And at one point, the white woman in the book says, well, I just didn't really strike me as a house that black people would live in. And so it made me think about Martha's Vineyard because...
You're going to tell the story?
No. What story?
I want
a story about who was in there.
Oh, yeah, the Trump lady.
No. Who was in... When? This summer?
That's what he's talking
about. No, I thought we couldn't...
Well, we didn't sign any release about it, but they were there and we didn't know that was them.
Well, you tell it because I'm not, we
didn't go to our house this summer because most of us don't live in the neighborhood anymore. We don't live on that coast, and and we weren't going to fly, and it was all. So we decided we would go ahead and rent it out. And it's pretty pricey to rent. It's 10,000 square feet. And so
I think it's, what is it, like 65,000 a week?
I didn't say that. I just said it's pretty pricey.
It's pricey.
And I'm going to leave it at that.
All right, fine.
It depends. So we got an inquiry about renting it for a month for the month of June. So we consulted with each other and we were like, yeah, okay, all right. So ultimately what did occur was we got a couple of emails, people who own the property there, maybe 12 or 13 of us who have some sizable properties. And we got an email from the area property manager who said, when you have guests, could you please tell them to not park their cars at the entrance to the private beach?
Because there's a private beach.
And we were all gone, we're all wherever we are. And we thought, well, that's not us. And, okay. And then 2 days later, and when you have guests who have security, could you please let our security know so that they can coordinate? And I'm thinking, okay, that's 2 tactful emails over the course of 3 days.
Right.
It's sent to everybody, all 12 homeowners. And it's like, so I asked
in that, you mean the homeowners in that area?
Yeah, on the farm.
Okay.
So I asked my brother and my niece, could you all check to see if this has anything to do with us? And it turned out that we were told that it was our house guests who were down on the beach wearing MAGA hats, Make America Great Again hats. And we were all like,
and we didn't know, right. We didn't know. We didn't because.
And it turned out that the person who leased the house signed the lease in her maiden name. And her maiden name was not her married name, which was Kushner. So that security actually at one point for about a week was Secret Service. And I thought, how about we let them know that they were renting that house from
I don't know why you didn't.
Because I'm not trying to contact them.
No, I mean, but it'd be like, oh, you know what? I hope when you know that you're sitting on this really nice furniture,
laying in this bed,
right? Laying in this bed. And honestly, I got a problem.
We have separate linens.
I don't care. I don't want people in my room. I don't want anybody in my room. I really don't. Like because we each got to design our own. Like me and my cousins got to design our own room.
You did?
Right? Yes.
Which one's yours?
The one with the little interior room.
I have
the one that Uncle Howard stays in next to mine.
I have like the one with the outdoor tub.
There's an outdoor.
Yeah, it's like an outdoor Japanese
tub. It has a little
tub.
Inside room, which is actually supposed to be for you.
Right, but now you're like wrong, whatever. So anyway, that being said, I don't really like people's sleeping on my stuff, but whatever. Here we are. It's really nice out there, though.
Cool.
Okay, so Larnie has asked for us to play September by
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, do you need your little speaker thing?
No, I have my phone.
Okay. So y'all ready? Because y'all better get that house fumigated. That's Maritza.
I mean,
absolutely. Check for listening devices. Well, we have rented it since then. Yeah, it is near the Obamas. It's right near the Obamas. Or you say the Obamas are next to us.
Yeah.
We're kind of one house away from David Letterman.
Yeah. He's actually
and the
really
Obamas
nice.
are on the other side of David Letterman.
Yeah.
So I think that what I plan to do is we're going to burn a whole lot of sage. None of us have gone back to the house.
We can't play the song because of copyright.
We'll play a short version of it.
No, you can't play it.
Can't play it.
Oh, on YouTube?
No, right, because we're on YouTube.
Larnie, you're going to have to hum.
The 22nd
night. Day of September.
The day after.
Remember out the way.
Actually, I went to go see Earth, Wind, and Fire last summer at the Bowl. They were so good. Oh my God. And we got tickets like kind of late. We got tickets kind of late. It was a really good show. Of course he knows that song. Like I'm his mom and you're his grandma. Anyway, I feel this is a good time to leave. Because quite honestly, I just kind of want to lay down. And I'm sorry I was irritated today, but I'm just
right. Badia, say, do you remember? Badia. Dancing in September.
Oh, also real quick, when I went to the Earth, Wind, and Fire concert, Philip Bailey sang like Maurice White's part, and I was really, really like
impressed.
Yeah.
Did you hear Philip Bailey's son sing?
I did.
That boy can
I
sing.
Was like, it was really, really
he's
good.
Short, but
For some reason, when I was like young, I'd been to like 3 or 4 Earth, Wind, and Fire concerts. Like
Vegas, me and my girls.
No, I'm not talking about Vegas. I'm talking about Houston.
Yeah, I took you to that.
Like we went and saw it 3 times. I was like, okay, body out. Okay, bye.
Me and my girls, we've seen them in Vegas. We saw them here. We go backstage and hang out. Verdine and Ralph.
And Verdine's wig.
Why are you talking about Verdine?
Because Verdine's no, it's not about that. Verdine's wig is magical. Like it's its own entity. Magical. Yes. Magical.
Okay. But the story about Earth, Wind, and Fire is that Vassar College was the second college concert they did. And my then roommate.
Do we have to tell the story again? Because we were about to leave.
Was with him for a night. Was with Verdine for a night.
At the beginning
when we saw them on the Tom Joyner cruise, I reminded him and he left. He was like, "Oh yeah."
The Tom Joyner cruise, were there a lot of black men there with white linen and square toe sandals? People want to know.
Is there a problem with that?
Kind of. I mean,
it sounds like New Orleans.
It sounds like Essence. It sounds like people getting.
It sounds like Playboy Jazz.
Playboy Jazz is fun though.
Well, yeah, but what you got against black
men?
It's like
you know what I have against it? It's just there comes a point where it's like, you know what, Steve Harvey, I can't do this with you no more. Like Steve Harvey in the end. But Steve Harvey did now a tapered leg.
He dresses nice.
Oh God, a tapered leg
on Family Feud.
Is he still on Family Feud?
Yeah, and he looks good.
Good.
That means for whatever.
Well, I went to the what was it, Steve Harvey Sand and Soul or whatever last year, and I'm glad his clothing is better because at one point, His
people invited.
His people
you to be a
invited,
part of
right?
it.
So at one point, so he's on stage, right? And he's like, his wife is there, and she's, she was really nice, and she was just being cute, whatever. And so Steve Harvey had on, I kid you not, I've never seen this before in my life, but I was like, here we go, Black people. A white linen shirt that had not one lapel, but four, not two.
Well,
I've never seen that before.
And what is good for has got to be the bomb.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. They had extra material. We're gonna lather it. We're gonna
like,
lay it all up here.
Why though?
Okay.
So anyway.
So, but remember that. Remember that in New York, for example, at Central Park every year they'd have a white party. Every Black people everywhere.
I've never been to a white
party.
I just want to say I've never been to one. I've escaped.
What kind of Black person are you?
I'm a super Black person, and
you went to college and grad school in New Orleans, and you never went to a white party?
No, it's a
Everybody
party where
wears
Black
white.
people wear white linen and just be Black.
They'd be Black and
That
white linen.
sounds fun.
It is fun.
I mean, I just was like, because in the 90s,
everybody's crisp.
In the 90s,
They're
that's when white parties started,
They're
and it
crisp
just
until
was
they're
like,
not crisp anymore, and it's all.
I was like,
they
I
get all
can't
hot, and the
do
linen's
this.
all baggy and looking all.
I can't do this. Deb said, "Don't forget about Reggie Hudlin." I don't know what that means.
You mean to say that he produced the Emmys? Is that what that I should say about Reggie and D Nice? So Reggie Hudlin was the producer this year of the Emmys. Was he the producer or the executive producer?
No.
I wonder if family did that.
I didn't, but seriously, I'm kind of sorry I didn't watch the Emmys last night. Deb, answer that question. Was he the producer or the EP? And then afterwards, and then D Nice, DJ D Nice, who y'all must be listening to.
I'm not, but.
Well, what is wrong with you?
Well, it doesn't matter.
So D Nice was also, he did the music for the virtual Emmys.
Well, that's nice.
So Black folks they've had their leg all up in that,
So it was virtual?
Yeah, it had to be. Yeah.
Oh, that's.
I have nothing against D-Nice. I just think they're better DJs. I'm sorry.
Well, probably because you're not that generation.
Excuse me. Yes, I am. I'm very much that generation. I know people who DJ with D-Nice, like Rich Medina. Hi, Rich. And I just consider him to be better, but it's fine. You all be happy with your choices. Well, you know what?
Let me say this to you.
Be happy with your choices.
Let me say this to you. It doesn't mean that there are not people who are better than him, right?
It's just very corporate.
It means that he got the pull. He got the juice,
right?
And therefore, he got the money. So who cares whether people are better than him?
I care because I like good music.
He's locked in.
But I mean, if y'all like corporate,
switch the channel and listen.
I don't
listen to what you want.
I do.
Well, there you go.
I do, but
I don't know why you got to put down his skills.
I'm not putting down his skills. I'm not because here's the thing.
I know people who are better than.
Because here's the thing, D-Nice. I just expect more from you. That's all I'm saying. I've seen you DJ. I went to a lot of after parties that you DJ'd at. I thought you did an okay job. I think that you could be a little bit better.
He might be in tears right now because of course he's not. Of course he's not.
Don't be mean to D-Nice.
I'm not being mean to him. First of all, I used to have a crush on D-Nice. I used to have a crush on D-Nice back in the day. What? Okay, when he was with BDP, you don't know what this is about. I used to have a crush on D-Nice because this is not for you. I used to have a crush on D-Nice back in the day when he came out with My Name is D-Nice. I am not hoish. I've never even I may have met him once. Okay.
And you had a crush?
When I was 15, everybody had a crush on D-Nice. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Anyway, all I'm saying is
I think
okay, I want, you know what?
She had his poster on her wall and grew up to marry him.
You know what? Goodbye. I'm tired. You know what? Say goodbye. Goodbye. Because I'm tired of these people. Goodbye. No, leave it.